Hey everyone, I'm Rob and welcome to the test drive. Today, I'm driving the 2019 BMW M240i xDrive convertible. And today, I'm gonna tell you everything that you need to know about this car. Let's go. So the M240i is basically the middle of BMW's 2 Series. It sits above the 230i, but below the M2. And while this car is no M2, and it's badged as sort of an M Light model, as BMW is starting to do in every single series, this is a really fun car to drive. The M240i comes in 2 different body styles. You have the coupe and then you have the convertible. So like in every other review, we're gonna start with the exterior of the 2019 BMW M240i. Now, the M240i is not changing at all from 2019 to 2020. And I really like the look of this current generation 2 Series. Because this is the M240i, it does look significantly more aggressive than the 230i. I love the look of this car from the front. It looks very aggressive, even for such a small car. Definitely has a very aggressive front end. I like the look of the headlights, although they're not quite as sharp and angular as the 4 Series headlights. This does have the really awesome M Sport front bumper, which looks phenomenal. And then this is a really aggressive looking car from the side as well. I absolutely love these wheels. These are only 18-inch wheels and they're only 225 millimeters in width in terms of the tires, but they do look really aggressive. You have these awesome blue M Sport brake calipers, which I absolutely love. And then from the rear, this is a really good looking car. I love the look of the tail lights. I also really like the dark exhaust tips. I think they look way better than chrome. The 2019 M240i is just all around a very attractive and very aggressive looking car. Another place where I'm impressed with the M240i is in the interior. The interior of this car is a really nice place to be. It looks very modern. The cabin materials are very nice. Everything's really soft. You don't have very much hard plastic in here, although there is a little bit. I really like BMW's M Sport steering wheels, and not everybody does. Some people think that they're too thick, but for me, I absolutely love it, and it's very soft, very comfortable, and very aggressive. I also really like the seats in this car. The standard material is BMW's Sensatec, which is like a leatherette, not real leather, but then for a pretty small amount of money, you can upgrade it to multiple Dakota leather options, which is what is in this car. This has the black Dakota leather, and I really like them. These seats are very soft, and I like how BMW is basically able to shrink the 4 Series interior and put that level in here. I love that these seats have adjustable side bolsters, especially with how quick this car is and how much fun it is to drive. To have these side bolsters where you can really have the seats hold you in when you're driving around windy roads is awesome. This car also has a pretty decent amount of room for how small it is. The driver and front passenger have plenty of room. I'm 6 feet tall and I have no problem fitting in this car, and even with this convertible, I have a ton of headroom, and somebody much bigger than me could definitely drive this car or ride up front. Now, the back seat is obviously pretty small. It would be very cramped for most adults to sit back there, but in terms of kids or just riding back there for a short period of time, I think it's fine. It really is surprising how much rear seat room you have. I mean, you actually do have some room. I've been in cars where at my seating position, my seat was basically touching the rear seat, and at least here you do have a little bit of room. And because this is the convertible, your trunk space is significantly reduced, but it's not terrible. You can fit some stuff back there. For a convertible, it's not bad at all. It is a decent amount of trunk space. I also love the little Estoril blue line on the trim in this car. It's really cool, and it actually matches the blue that's on the key fob, but this blue is only available with this specific silver looking trim. However, while I really like the way this car looks on the outside, and while I really like the interior of this car, my favorite thing about the 2019 and 2020 M240i is the performance, because this is a very quick little car and it is an absolute blast to drive. Under the hood of the M240i is a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine putting out 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. And with the available xDrive all-wheel drive system, which is what this M240i has, this car can go 0 to 60 in either 4.4 seconds in the convertible, just being heavier, I think, or 4.2 seconds in the coupe. And those numbers are straight from BMW. I would imagine that they're probably a little bit underrated, and I think that this car can probably do 0 to 60 in closer to 4 seconds. In terms of transmission options, if you get the xDrive all-wheel drive system, your only choice is the 8-speed automatic, which is in almost every modern BMW. But if you are okay with getting this car in rear-wheel drive, and that actually might be a lot more fun in a climate where you can do that year-round, you can actually get the 6-speed manual transmission in this car, which is awesome because I thought BMW wasn't going to be offering that anymore in the M240i. And while they don't offer it with xDrive, and I'm not sure if they ever did, they do offer it with rear-wheel drive, and that is really cool. And I would definitely get this car with a manual if I was gonna buy one, and if I could do it without all-wheel drive. With this much power and rear-wheel drive and being able to get this thing sideways pretty easily, I'm sure, with that setup and a manual, that just sounds like a recipe for an insane amount of fun. The other interesting thing about the M240i is that before the M2 competition came out and basically replaced the M2, this car is almost as powerful as the original M2. And obviously with a tune, you could make this faster, and I don't know if there would be an advantage to doing that versus buying an M2. Obviously you can get all-wheel drive in this car, but I always found that really interesting. Now the M2 comp is obviously significantly more powerful, over 400 horsepower, over 400 pound-feet of torque. This is such a quick car. Another thing that really impresses me about the M240i is the sound. This engine, just on its own, sounds really aggressive, but the exhaust that BMW has stock in this car sounds really good. I mean, I wish it was a little bit louder, but the crackles and pops that you get are so unexpected and so awesome in a car that you wouldn't necessarily expect to have that in. And it does it so much. I mean, it does it on pretty much every downshift. It does it pretty much anytime you let off the gas when you're anywhere near 3,000 RPM. And the interesting thing is, all you have to do is put the car in Sport or Sport Plus, and then that's when that really aggressive exhaust with the crackles and pops kicks in. And to my knowledge, this doesn't have like a valved exhaust or anything like that. I mean, maybe it does, I don't know, but this thing crackles and pops like crazy. Again, I wish it was louder, but it's awesome. I mean, my 440i does not do that until I get the M Performance Power and Sound Kit, which I don't believe is available for this car. But this car already has the torque number that the 440i puts out with the MPPSK. This car also handles really well despite only having 225 millimeter wide tires, and it also rides really nicely on roads that aren't very nice. So it's one of those things where it's like a kind of a perfect medium in between having really good handling and pretty minimal body roll, but also being very comfortable on a daily driving basis, and especially in the Northeast where the roads aren't very nice and are typically just covered in potholes. The paddles are also very responsive, pretty instantaneous when it comes to upshifts and downshifts. But I have to say, I just love the character of this car when you put it in Sport or Sport Plus. It is such a difference from when you drive it in Comfort. The character of the car changes that much. This car pulls so freaking hard. It is awesome. And this car is also pretty well equipped from the technology standpoint. The technology package for this car is only, I think, $2,500, and that gives you pretty much everything. It gives you navigation, it gives you Apple CarPlay, It gives you a bunch of the luxury features with heated seats and heated steering wheel and a lot of other things. I like the infotainment screen. I love the fact that, like in every modern BMW at this point, you can either use the touch functionality or the scroll wheel. I also love the digital display for the instrument cluster. I did not expect that in this car, and I think it looks great. This M240i does not have blind spot monitoring, and if I remember from the configurator, I don't even think that was an option, so that's kind of interesting. Now, it does have a forward collision detection system, which works really well. This car also has the Harman Kardon sound system, which is very inexpensive. I don't even think it's $900, and it sounds great. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the 2019 BMW M240i xDrive convertible. Once again, I'm Rob. This is the test drive. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any awesome upcoming videos. Thanks again for taking this test drive with me, and I'll talk to you soon.